Life Gen.G played today. Obviously, these are some of the best players in the world. But there's a couple things that I think was cool. Their level 1 was interesting. I don't know how the bot matchup goes, but it looked like they were committed both games to make sure they get the lanes that they want. And they warded here, here, and here, which basically makes it impossible for Caitlyn to walk anywhere other than maybe if she went like this to get into a lane without being spotted. So they all 4 or 5 men run into their jungle. Top jungle support puts 3 wards down, and now Caitlyn has no way of getting to top without revealing where she is. And then they open mid. The thing is, and the reason I don't want to overread too much, is Caitlyn didn't show until they decided to go bot. So I think at this point it's too late. They didn't see them. They just have to go to one lane. But if we ever want to make sure we can match lanes, I think this is the best thing to do. Just triple ward. And it's the same in the next game. Like, the opening is the exact same as what they did. They just did it on red side instead.
But that's where you need to ward.
They just 5-man walked in. Level 1. 1 ward. 2 ward. 3 ward. How are you doing, Reki? You here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hello, hello.
How are you guys?
Good. How are you?
How are you?
Yeah, all good.
We're just going through Gen.G's game, level 1. Both games, they did the same thing. They just walk in and ward here, 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 or here, 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 if they want to match lanes. And then some cases, I presume here, Crowny, they're staying because they win 3v3.
Yes, that's what I said. Like, if you win level 1, and you're like wondering if enemy is swapping or not, I don't think you care as long as you're in their jungle level 1. Because if they don't swap, you just win because you're taking the jungle, and if they do swap, you're at least taking enemy jungle level 1. So your jungle is always going to be okay.
The funny thing is, in this game, when they deep warded, I guess here they think they lose 3v3 level 1, I'm not sure. But they warded and Zeus saw it, right? So that in game 2, the Light took sweeper and then swept the ward for Ornn. So that they didn't give info. So they adapted instantly the second game. And they swept the ward before showing, and then Rakan swept for Ornn and ran. So they thought that they would get matching lanes, but
wait, there's no way Rakan like swept and ran all the way to top?
Yeah.
What the fuck? That's crazy.
He missed 3
He
minutes
lost
though.
XP, no? That's not worth, I think.
Yeah.
Because
missed
what,
3
like,
minutes.
because you know, what's the point of swap? Because, okay, even if he doesn't sweep, and they see Ornn bot, it's not like Gen.G bot lane is gonna go top. Like, you don't care at that point. I don't understand the benefit.
So I think just for our swaps for future, if we want to swap, then I think we can walk in and deep ward their thing and open mid and match. If we don't care, I think it's always, and we think that they might swap on us, I think it's always safe to do this. I think it's safe to walk in 5 men, put 3 wards down, and then stick. And we play, remember how we said yesterday, we're going to ward here and stick back here? And if we see 1 walk in, we'll kill, and if we see 3 or 4 walk in, we'll back. Because then we know where their jungler starts. If they 4-man invade to retake and we can back in time and take, then we can clear up. Or something like this. Or we can poke them on the face check. I feel like this feels pretty safe. Do you guys like it? For swaps?
I like it.
Okay. Yeah, I like it.
I think really the key is like if we're strong level 1, just always like be in enemy jungle. Like,
because this just secures Velia big time.
Yeah.
The only thing that could happen is, like, I've seen this in some pro games, just think about it every now and then, maybe you'll forget. But sometimes junglers, like, they'll, like, hide here, run here, and then they'll start here while you're 4-man invading. Shit like this might happen, so just look out for it. Their Grubs, the way they played the Grubs was quite interesting. I'll just show it to you. So, they open bot with Ashe Leona. Grubs are in 30 seconds. They stack 2 waves. The 2 waves crash on bot. They don't poke Ambessa. They just run from bot to mid to top. Hui takes mid wave. Ashe hovers. Could be contested. Ashe full commits. And then Hui goes over bot and takes over.
Yeah.
So Hui runs bot. They 3-man Grubs. Renekton's hovering. And then Neme kind of doesn't really lose much. He gets mid wave and then gets most of bot wave. And then Ashe just takes over mid. And that's how they do Grubs. So don't be afraid to full shift. And then mid lane can run towards bot.
Pretty smart, no?
And catch.
Yeah.
Pretty easy. Especially if their bot lane's top and we're not sure if we can match. A really easy way of just making it so the map's playable. Their Grubs, for second Grubs, was pretty solid. Grubs are spawning soon. They're all coming out of base at the same time. They're meeting around the same time. They just put their bot lane top, and I think their champs are really strong, but they just put their bot lane top. Hui is going to TP top, and this is an interesting thing that I want us to look at and see if we can adapt it into our games every now and then. But just as an example, they have 3 Grubs, and they're going to get 6 because they know they're stronger. Renekton's not even running to bot wave here, Baus. He's just going to go mid. I think in our games here, you would go push bot, and you'd say, I can TP if there's a fight. What Renekton does is he just runs mid to top, because I think he thinks Grubs are free, and we have good control around Grubs, and if he goes bot, he could get dove, and it's kind of useless for him. Maybe he could outplay 1v2, 1v3, but instead what he does is he just hangs around the Grubs, and then Ashe pushes mid wave by herself, and then they 4-man lane top and just hit the tower. And this does 2 things. 1, this only really works if you have 6 Grubs, but 1, you'll get first blood tower for feats, and 2, whoever stays gets dove, and Renekton doesn't. In this case, it was a bit scuffed, because what happens is Corki like TPs to try and defend the tower, which I think is terrible by him. But even if he doesn't, the tower dies. And in this 4-man lane, they just kind of stay there together. Remember I showed you that VOD a couple weeks ago of Ornn doing it, Zeus, Baus?
Yeah.
It just basically means you
finals.
can't get dove. Yeah, in the finals he did this. You can't get dove, whoever stays gets dove, and no matter what, they can't match numbers. So yeah, I think this can work really well if you want to snowball games and avoid being cross-mapped on. And eventually what you can do is TP bot if you need to. If they do send like 4 top the lane, we can probably just TP away if we want. But this just kind of blows games open. So if you ever see an option, look at that. The last main things are Gen.G did something that we learned, which is cool. They get vision through side for Hui instead of going through mid. You know how we have a control mage on side? Jungle support, just hover on his side so he can't get Bard ulted or Bard engaged on. Make it so Nemes safe on side first, give him vision, and then just leave your AD carry mid if you have a mage, yeah? Make sure that the mage gets vision on side first, no matter what, and then you can play the 3-men. This was
They're just copying us.
Yeah, they are copying us at this point.
You copied your build, Baus.
The Galio, yeah, I saw it.
The rest of the game was pretty simple. There's just very standard stuff they're doing that's obvious, right? Like here, for example, Renekton pushes out bot, Hui pushes out top, and Drake spawning soon. Hui has no TP, Renekton does. They both just press B, and they just swap lanes. Renekton just takes over top, Hui takes over bot, and now Drake's a lot more fightable. They don't really care about top tower too much. If the enemy team wants to cross map, that's fine. They look like they have a really high Drake prio. So yeah, I think that's absolutely fine if you ever want to communicate TP situation, swapping lanes. And the last thing I wrote down was 22, which was a really good shift for Atakan. Remember how we overloaded Atakan and we like sent 5 people to do Atakan on spawn and shit like this and start it? I think what they did was pretty smart. Like Renekton just opens towards mid and ignores bot wave. Maybe you didn't have time to get this. And just clears mid while they try and force. So we make sure that mid's pushed and then Renekton can hover. No matter what. This is always working. I think we did a game where Baus was playing Cho'Gath. Remember that game where you're Cho'Gath and you're like wondering where you can catch the wave?
Yeah.
If you can catch the wave high, do it. If you can catch the wave here, do it. You have TP, great. If we want to force, just make sure we get this wave unless they can cross map shit on us. And then they force Atakan. And I mean, to be honest, they played this game pretty well.